Hello, I'm Peter Bergman. This is my official YouTube channel. I'll be updating you with the latest news, so please subscribe to my channel.
Welcome back to the channel, you absolute legends. Today is a spectacularly chaotic day in the soapverse, and we are absolutely here to unpack every single unhinged moment together. Grab your iced coffee, lock your doors, and get ready because we are diving headfirst into the drama that has completely shattered the internet. Let's get straight into it. My jaw is literally on the floor right now. I am sitting here in my bedroom, hitting record at 3 a.m., eyes completely bloodshot from watching this latest drop on repeat, because if I don't vent this right now, I am going to spontaneously combust. I am shaking. I am literally vibrating with a mix of pure adrenaline and absolute terror. Besties, we need to hold a literal intervention right now. The writers have officially lost their minds in the best way possible, and we are witnessing soap opera history being written in blood, sweat, and premium corporate tears. The Abbott family is already in complete and utter shambles. Abbott is teetering on the edge of a catastrophic abyss, and just when you think the anxiety meter has maxed out, they drop the ultimate apocalyptic nuke on us. Jill Abbott is back. And she didn't just come back to sip overpriced martinis at the athletic club. She came back to burn the entire Abbott legacy to the ground with a secret so dark, so twisted, that Jack Abbott is literally quaking in his custom Italian suit. I am screaming. Let us just set the stage for a second, because the context here is absolutely vital. The Abbott family is currently experiencing what can only be described as a generational meltdown. We are talking about a full-scale civil war, no cap. Kyle is out here acting like a petulant prince who thinks he deserves the throne without putting in the actual work, betraying his own blood at every turn. Diane is hovering around the CEO chair like a moth to a very toxic, very expensive flame, manipulating the optics while pretending to be the supportive wife. Ashley is spiraling through her own deeply traumatic psychological labyrinth, completely unable to anchor the family like she usually does. Tracy, bless her pure, angelic heart, is trying to hold the crumbling walls of the Abbott mansion together with nothing but sheer willpower and a prayer. And Billy is being classic chaotic neutral Billy, ready to blow up any bridge if it means he gets to stand on the ashes. The family is fractured. They are bleeding out. The sharks are circling in the Genoa city waters, smelling the vulnerability from a mile away. Jack Abbott thinks he is standing tall, holding the shield of his father's legacy, trying to project strength to the board and the media. He thinks he is the untouchable patriarch. Then, the heavy oak doors of the Jabbo boardroom swing open with the force of a literal hurricane. The temperature in the room drops 10 degrees. The camera pans up from a pair of killer designer heels. And there she is, Jess Walton, giving us absolute, unadulterated mother energy. Jill Abbott has entered the chat, and she looks like she just came from a funeral, specifically Jack's corporate funeral. The sheer aura of this woman. She doesn't just walk into a room, she invades it. She owns it. She strutted in there with a smirk so lethal it could cut through bulletproof glass. You could physically see the oxygen leave Jack's body. He tried to puff out his chest, tried to do that classic Peter Bergman authoritative sigh, but Jill just looked at him like he was a bug on her windshield. It was cinematic perfection. I was gripping the edges of my desk, literally howling at my screen, because this is the high-stakes, blood-feud drama we have been begging for. Is it just me, or did they completely fumble the bag on this one storyline last year with the whole Tucker McCall corporate espionage snooze fest? Like, they tried to make Jabbo seem vulnerable, but it just felt so forced and low stakes. But this is how you do a corporate takeover. You don't use anonymous hackers or boring shell companies. You use Jill freaking Abbott, armed with a nuclear secret that strikes at the very core of the family's emotional foundation. The pacing, the lighting, the tension, it was all giving Emmy-winning masterpiece. The writers looked at the chessboard, swept all the pieces onto the floor, and said, let's bring in the queen. Let's take a little trip down memory lane, because we have to talk about the history here. Remember back in the day, in the golden era of the 90s and early 2000s, when Jill was married to John Abbott, the absolute chaos she brought into that mansion. Jack despised her with every fiber of his being. He saw her as a gold-digging interloper who was taking advantage of his beloved father. The fights they had, the screaming matches over the breakfast table. Jack literally spent decades trying to erase Jill from the Abbott narrative, treating her like a stain on the family portrait. And Jill fought tooth and nail for every ounce of respect she got. She loved John, but she also loved the power, and she never, ever forgot how Jack humiliated her. She has been sitting on the sidelines, watching Jack play the righteous, moral authority of Genoa City, parading around like he is the second coming of John Abbott. She has been biding her time, collecting her receipts, waiting for the exact moment when the Abbott family was at their weakest. Wait, I'm literally yapping right now. I could talk about the 90s Y&R lore for 5 hours straight, but we need to focus on the present. Let's get back to the actual tea. So they are in the boardroom. Jack tells her to leave, citing that this is a private family crisis and she has no place there. Jill just laughs. A cold, chilling, bone-deep laugh. She reaches into her designer bag, which probably cost more than my entire life, and pulls out a single aged manila envelope. And this is when the scene shifts from a dramatic confrontation to a literal horror movie. Jill doesn't just threaten Jack with a hostile takeover or a stock buyout. No, she hits him where he lives. She reveals the secret. Besties, when I tell you I stopped breathing, Jill reveals that she has definitive, undeniable proof that John Abbott's final devastating decline, the stress, the heart issues, the ultimate breaking of his spirit was not natural. It wasn't just age or the pressures of business. Jill drops the bombshell that decades ago, during a massive, unpublicized financial crisis that almost bankrupted Jabot, Jack didn't legally save the company like he always claimed. Jack embezzled millions from a highly dangerous illicit syndicate to keep Jabot afloat, and when the syndicate came to collect, John found out. John Abbott, the moral compass of the show, the man whose portrait literally judges everyone from the living room wall, took the fall. John secretly paid off the syndicate, liquidated his own private assets, and entered into a horrific blackmail arrangement to protect Jack from going to federal prison or worse, being killed. Jill reveals that John's heart attacks, his crushing anxiety in his final years, were directly caused by the weight of Jack's colossal criminal hubris. John died carrying the secret of Jack's unforgivable sins. And Jill found the original blackmail tapes. She found the settlement papers bearing John's forged signature, forged by Jack to cover his tracks. She has the receipts. If she releases this envelope to the feds and the media, Jack doesn't just lose Jabot. He goes to federal prison for decades. But more importantly, his entire identity as the golden boy who protected his father's legacy is completely obliterated. He is exposed as the literal architect of his father's destruction. The terror. You guys, the sheer, unadulterated terror in Jack Abbott's eyes. Peter Bergman deserves every single award for this performance. You could see his soul leave his body. His face went completely ashen. His hands started trembling violently, and he literally had to grip the edge of the boardroom table just to stay standing. He was hyperventilating. All his arrogance, all his patriarchal posturing just melted away in an instant, leaving behind a terrified, guilty little boy who realized his deepest, darkest sin had just been dragged into the light. Jill stood over him, looking like a vengeful deity, and whispered, "You didn't save his company, Jack. You killed him. I am literally deceased." I screamed so loud, my neighbors probably think I am being attacked. I genuinely feel so sick to my stomach for Jack because his entire reality is shattering, and John was his hero, actually. Wait, no, I don't feel bad for him at all because Jack is a total hypocrite who has been playing God with everyone else's lives for decades while hiding this monstrous skeleton in his closet. He has judged Phyllis, he has judged Victor, he has judged Kyle, all while knowing that his own foundation was built on the literal suffering of his saintly father. It is poetic cinema. It is karma coming back with a vengeance, wearing a Chanel suit and a red lip. Hot take, but I am actually ascending right now because of what this means for the rest of the canvas. Think about the ripple effects. What happens when Diane finds out that the man she has been hitching her wagon to is a fraud who might be going to federal prison? Will she stand by him, or will she immediately start scheming to save herself? What happens when Kyle realizes His father, who constantly lectures him about loyalty and ethics, is a criminal who destroyed his own grandfather. Kyle is going to absolutely lose his mind and probably try to side with Jill and Billy. Oh my God, Billy! Jill is his mother. John was his father. When Billy finds out that his half-brother is the reason their father suffered so deeply, the brotherly bond is going to be permanently, violently severed. Billy might actually team up with Jill to rip Jabot away from Jack once and for all. Then we have to consider Victor Newman. You know, the mustache is sitting in his ranch sipping tequila, just waiting for the Abbott Empire to show a crack. When Victor gets wind of this horrifying secret, he won't just want to buy Jabot. He will want to publicly humiliate Jack in the town square. Yet Jill might not even need Victor's help. Mainly Jill holds all the cards right now. She has Jack completely cornered, paralyzed by fear and guilt, totally unhinged. How this one single envelope, this one ghost from the past, has the power to reset the entire hierarchy of Genoa City. The episode ended with a tight, suffocating close-up on Jack's terrified, sweat-drenched face as Jill's chilling laughter echoed in the background, cutting to black just as Jack looked like he was about to collapse. I am literally unwell. I cannot function. I need the next episode immediately, or I am going to march down to the CBS studios and demand the tapes myself. Besties, you have to sound off in the comments right now. Are you Team Jill burning it all down? Or are you somehow still defending Jack after this monstrous revelation? Let me know, because my brain is completely fried and I need my squad to process this trauma with me. Until next time, stay chaotic.
Thank you for watching my video. I will be updating regularly with the latest news, so please remember to subscribe to my channel to support me.